Now, you know your boy, Coach D. I like to chill. And at night, when I'm really, really downloading, I watch the Lifetime channel. My fellas know that, so I'm not saying that at all. A couple of weeks ago, actually last week, I'm strolling through the Lifetime channel, seeing if anything new came out. Stumbled on a new movie, Secrets in the Building. And guess what? I was able to hook up with the star of that movie, Kia Dorsey. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kia Dorsey to Ain't No Manual.
Hi,
How you doing, Miss Dorsey?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. You in a Lifetime movie. How does
I
it feel?
know. I can't believe it. My whole family is like, you're lifetime famous.
Well, first off, thank you because I know you're busy. Thank you for spending time with us. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I've been reflecting a lot, and I'm very grateful for where I am in life. So I feel really good.
Now, how does it feel to be in a movie? Period.
It's a little crazy. I will say this is something that I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. And I've been working in the entertainment industry for about 10 ish, 15 ish years, between 10 and 15 years. So actually having a lead role in a feature film, I'm like, this is insane. It's crazy. I'm really excited. I'm very proud.
Wow. Now, is this your first movie?
This isn't my first movie. I've done multiple movies like background work or supporting stuff. I've done a lot of short films, a lot of theater, but this is my first lead role in a feature film where, my character is on screen majority of the movie. So
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Now, how did you get the role?
There's this lovely website that us actors check on a daily basis if you're serious about the craft and the career. And I saw that they were casting, and I just submitted. And I was in this period where I was just submitting for a lot of stuff just to get an audition. So for
Mhm.
me, honestly, this audition, I was like, oh, it's just going to be practice. Like, there's no way I'm going to book the lead in this movie. I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to submit it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to practice. And
Right.
I found out that I was cast as a lead role in this play that was happening in LA. And then I got a call from casting about Secrets in the Building, and they were like, "Hey, we want you for the lead role in our movie." And I was like, "What? Like, are you serious? That audition I almost didn't do. You want me? Okay, cool." So yeah.
Now, how does the audition work? Because you said you went online. So did you like have to send an audition film, or you just like a resume?
Yeah, I did a little bit of everything. So normally you have agents and managers, which I do. I have two agents and a manager. But this is a
Mm.
website that is very well trusted and used. You can self-submit. You don't have to use your agent or your manager. So I found it myself. And you basically send them your picture, and then they look at your picture and they say, "Oh, okay, this girl, she looks the part. Yes, we'll let her audition." So I had to pass that first. They had
Mm.
to, they had to,
Right.
they had to just like my face to begin with. And
Right.
they were like, "Okay, yes, send us an audition." So they sent me the script. They sent me 3 scenes. I memorized those lines within like a day or two. And then I filmed it. And that's been like the only good thing that came out of COVID is the fact that we can film these auditions at home. We don't have to go in person. So I filmed my auditions at home, and then I sent it in. And after I sent it, I just forgot about it because it's, on to the next audition. And then 2
Right.
weeks later, they called me and they're like, "Hey, we want you." And I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Wow.
So yeah, it was really quick. It was a really quick turnaround.
Now you said in the audition, because of COVID, you can film at home versus actually going to an audition. Now I've
Right.
seen movies, or I'm just assuming when you normally go into an audition, like a line full of ladies and y'all just waiting. Is it really like that?
Yeah, yeah. It's more like that for theater. For film, you kind of have a time slot, like a scheduled time. So, hey Kia, we want your audition to be at 12:30, and then I'll show up, right before 12:30 or whatever. And there'll be a few
Hmm.
people waiting in the waiting room, but there won't be that line, that dramatic line. You see that more for open calls in theater. You see that too. But yeah, you get there your scheduled time, you sign in, you read your lines, and then you leave 10, 15 minutes later, however long it takes you. So it's a really quick audition. But with self tapes, you get it and they say, "Hey, today's Monday. Here's the tape we want you to do. Send it in by Friday," or whatever your turnaround time is. Um, But if you're like me and you're very analytical, you do the audition over and
You did
over and over
100
and
of
over and over. And at some point you have to be like, okay, Kia, stop trying to do it perfect. Just do it.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the only good thing that came out of COVID. Everything else, the pandemic sucks. But
Yeah. Now, how many did you do for the role of Nora?
how many auditions or scenes?
Uh-huh. Yeah, before you actually sent it in.
Just that night. Honestly, I think I might have done it like 2 or 3 times, which
Mhm.
is ideal. You don't want to, like I said, you don't want to do it too many times. I might have
Right.
just done it 2 or 3 times, and I felt pretty comfortable with it. And those are always the best auditions when you're not overthinking it, when you just allow yourself to do it and then be done with it. Those are the ones that I always end up booking. The ones
Right.
that I overthink,
Right.
I don't book. So
It's
maybe.
meant for you. Now, how did you develop the character Nora?
Oh,
How did you prepare
well,
for that character?
I didn't have a lot of time, honestly. I found out I got the part and then I was on set maybe 2 weeks later. But so I'm 27 and Nora is 17, a 10-year age difference. So I just had to remember what it was like to be in high school, remember what it was like to make new friends, to have athletic practice after school. I'm not an athlete at all. So the fact that I had to run and play soccer is really funny. My family dogged me on that. They were like, girl, you don't run.
Hey, but now on that race, when you was on that track with with your, you left them though.
Yeah, you know? And
Man.
they were like, Kia, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do it again. I was like, how many times do I have to run? You guys are killing me. I'm dying. Um, yeah, so I did run. I did try to work out in that 2 week period just to try to get in shape for 2 weeks. But yeah, I had to remember what it was like to be in high school and to be around bullies. I guess because Channing's character is a little bit of a bully.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't really hard to step into her shoes for me personally. I had a lot of fun with it. I was also a teacher, a high school teacher for 3 years before I moved to Los Angeles. So
Okay.
I also remember that aspect of it because I was just in the classroom last year, 2 years
Mm.
ago, around 17-year-olds all the time. So
Ooh, high school. Where were you teaching high school at?
here in Oklahoma. So I was teaching at my high school that I graduated from. I taught at, and then I taught at another school for 2 years before that, and then I switched.
Uh,
But when the pandemic hit, I was like, life is too short. There's so much that I want to do. And I was like, I'm gonna move to LA. So I left and I went to California, and I don't regret it.
so
See what
while you were teaching, were you submitting auditions,
I
or were you just
was.
focused on teaching?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I was. So I have an agent in Oklahoma, and I've been with that agent for about 10 years now, almost 11. And so while I was teaching, while I was in college, while I was teaching, working every other odd job that I have, I was still submitting auditions to whatever I could book that I could get to. Um,
Hmm.
Farthest away that I had to travel for a booking was Texas. I did a commercial with Marshawn Lynch last year, and that was the furthest that I traveled to do something. But everything else I couldn't really travel for because of work, and I had to realize, like, if I really want to do this, I have to give my job up to pursue the job that I
Oh,
want. You know what I mean?
wow.
Um, but I was submitting. I would be in my living room with all my background, my setup, submitting tapes, being like, "This is gonna be the one," and it wasn't the one, and I was like, "Okay, the next one's gonna be the one." But
Oh man, that's awesome. So you got
yeah,
that drive.
you have to in this industry. You have to.
Now, have you ever personally, going back to the role of Nora, the secrets
Mhm.
in the building, have you personally had an experience like that growing up with someone like your co-star Channing?
Oh
So I
God,
don't
no.
want to give too much to these people about the movie, but
Okay,
Channing was a man. Have you
okay.
dealt with her?
I was bullied. I will say that I was bullied in high school, but not to the extent of Channing. Channing is the worst.
Oh,
Channing, without giving away too much, yeah, I've never experienced that ever. But
yeah. Yeah, that's
that's
a different type of bullying.
that is a different that I mean
Yeah.
that's like called the police type of bullying. That's a stay away from me, 1,000 feet away from me type of bullying. But no, I was the youngest in my grade because I skipped a grade. So when I graduated from high school, I was 16. And there were definitely some people in my class that didn't like that, especially because I was class president. So I had this position of quote unquote power, which I don't consider being class president a position of power, but power. And then I was the baby of the class. So they were like, we don't really want to listen to the baby of the class, you know? So I was bullied, but yeah, not to that level of Channing.
So you must have a high GPA.
Kind of. I mean, I guess yeah.
4.5, 5.0, one of those extra.
I was in AP classes. I did the advanced placement program. And I was in a lot of extracurricular activities. I want to say when I graduated, I did 7 my senior year on top of the AP classes. That was nuts. I didn't really have much of a social life because I was like textbooks and theater and Spanish club and this and president and all these curricular activities.
When did you decide you wanted to be an actor? Because you said you didn't play sports in high school, right?
No, I didn't play sports.
What were you doing in high school?
Theater. So I ran track for one day. I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader in middle school, and then I cheered my freshman year. And then I fell in love. I always knew that I loved acting and performing, but I really fell in love with theater in high school. And theater rehearsals were at the same time as cheerleading practice. So I was like, I have to pick one. Which one do I really want to do? So I picked theater, and stuck with theater the whole time that I was in high school. So much so that I ended up somehow becoming like the student director, student choreographer. Like I was the one making all the calls, and I was like, you guys, we're going to do this. And everybody's like, where is our director? And I was like, me. But it was fun. But I knew that I loved acting when I was a kid. When I was in elementary school, I went to a charter school where every single day we would recite the presidents and our alphabet and our times table, the periodic table, literally everything that you can think of that somebody should know. The books of the Bible, like we would recite it out loud, and I would love to lead it every day. I was like, I want to lead it. I want to be the leader. Even at church, I grew up in church. Every Sunday program, something that involved, the kids dancing and doing praise and worship or whatever. I was like, me, I want to do it, So I think that was when I was like, I love being in front.
Wow. Now you mentioned directing. Do you think that's something in your future, that one of your goals?
Yeah, actually I do. When I was teaching, I was directing musicals for my students. And then I ran an education program for a community theater. So I was working with the students then, and I was directing musicals for them. But I actually expressed to Doug Campbell, who directed Secrets in the Building, that I have an interest in directing for film, because directing for theater and directing for film are two very different things. And so I did tell our director for Secrets in the Building, I was like, hey, can I shadow you at some point and learn a little bit about what it takes to direct a film? And he was like, yeah, of course. And he invited me to his next film that he's about to do in a few weeks, which I'm like, I might go back to LA and just shadow him for a day or two.
Soak up as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if he's letting me do it, why not? Why not take that opportunity? It's right in front of me. I'd be a fool not to.
Who were some of your influences coming up? Like whether it's theater or just in general, who were some of your influences? People that encouraged you?
Yeah, for film, I've had my eye on like Keke Palmer, Zendaya, Issa Rae, Quinta's doing amazing things. And I was having a conversation with a friend recently about there aren't a lot of African-American women my age in the industry right now. I can name a lot of African-American women who are in their like 40s, 50s. You have your Gabrielle Unions, your Nia Longs, your Sanaya Lathans. But I was like, who are the girls for me to look at? And it's Zendaya, Keke Palmer, Issa Rae is a little bit older than me, Quinta again. But I'm like, oh, okay. So that's who I feel like I grew up with Keke Palmer though, like watching her from Nickelodeon to now.
Right.
I actually got to be on set with her twice this year, which was really, really cool. She has a project because she started her own production company. And she had a series that she and her boyfriend wrote together and were working on, and I got to be a part of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's Kiki Palmer, like right there. This is somebody I look up to. This is really exciting. So that was pretty cool.
Now you mentioned that you don't see a lot of our faces or particular women of your age in the industry now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, producing or directing. Do you think it's limited in the industry, or do you think our people are not just into it as much? Because I coach high school football, and I don't hear a lot of kids talking about getting in the theater.
Yeah. I don't know if it's limited as much as there's just like this taboo around it. I think,
Hmm.
especially with theater, um, there's an unfortunate tie that people are convinced that, how do I say this without sounding offensive or rude? There's this like tie that if you're attached to theater, you're also going to be like a homosexual. And it's like, who
Mm,
cares? I'm still in the art
right.
of still storytelling. Who cares what my sexuality, what my gender is? I'm telling a story. I'm acting. I'm creating. I'm entertaining you so that at the end of your workday, you can go home and have something to watch and be
Right.
entertained by. And I wish there was more. I wish there were more opportunities for kids to get involved with the arts, which is why I think that I went into teaching the arts, because I didn't really have a lot of that myself growing up. I didn't have classes. My
Hmm.
first theater class wasn't until high school, but I'm teaching 5-year olds now how to act and sing and dance, and I was like, I wish I had this when I was 5.
Right.
Um, so as far as my age group in the industry now, I don't know. I don't know if there's just not an interest in it or if there's not enough being given to them so that they can rise up and be where they need to be now in their age. I hope the next generation there is. Um, but I don't know. I feel like this like little millennial group we got skipped over. I don't know. I could be wrong though. I mean, somebody could watch this and list 12 other people, and I'd be like, oh yeah, whoops, forgot about them.
Going to your roles, how do you select roles? Like I know you don't just send off to anything. Are you just looking for certain types of roles that you feel you want to play, or how does that work?
I make sure that it's a role that I morally agree with. Um, I don't feel comfortable doing roles that involve nudity, so I'm not going to accept anything like that right now.
Mhm.
Um, if it's a role that, if it's something that I morally disagree with, but it's a part of a grand story, like say I'm playing the villain in somebody else's story and I agree with what the whole movie is saying, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll play the villain in that story.
Right.
But I just make sure that it's well paid, it pays my bills, I'm not losing money, and that it's a group of people who kind of know what they're doing. If I'm being completely honest, I don't want to just
Mhm.
show up to somebody's house and they're like, "We're filming in my house," and I'm like, "This is sketchy." Because that
Right.
happens. That happens. Somebody will be like, "We're gonna have
Right.
auditions," and their auditions are at their house, and I'm like, "I'm not going to your house to audition for this movie. That's
No.
wrong. That's sketchy. I'm not doing." So that's how I decide what I'm gonna do.
Now, before going on set, how do you get your mind right? You have a playlist and prayer. What's the process there?
Yeah, I do. I do have a playlist. Funny that you asked that because the next movie that I'm about to do, my character is very rebellious and she's described as alternative. And I'm not alternative at all. I'm very bubbly, very goofy. I love Disney. I used to work
Mhm.
at Disney World. I still dress up as princesses for princess parties. Like I'm very youthful. And so I have to play this character who is like goth emo, heavy metal, which I don't listen to at all.
Ooh.
So I did. I asked some friends of mine. I was like, "Can you guys make a playlist for me with some very heavy metal?" And they did. And I've been listening to it lately, and I'm like, "Man, this really changes your mood." So it really alters your mood. I
Man.
turn it off real quick. I'm like, I don't want to be in that mood right now. If I'm on my way to set or the day before, I'll listen to that playlist and kind of get in that mood, that zone, that vibe. Um, yeah, there are people who are method actors who just become the character and they stay the character for the entire time that they're shooting the movie. Like they never turn it off. I can't do that. I can't. I
Right.
It scares me. You have like Heath Ledger did it, Jim Carrey does it. Sometimes they become the character and they stay that way for months. I'm like, I can't. I have to
Oh,
work.
that's got to be bad mentally.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can't do that. If I'm Heath Ledger playing the Joker, I can't stay the Joker even when the cameras are done rolling. Like I can't do that. So
I'm talking
props
about
to
he's going to McDonald's acting like the Joker, just staying in the
yes,
mode.
yes,
No.
literally. So
Mm-mm.
I give props to method actors. Kudos to you guys. I respect the craft. I get you have to do what you have to do, but Kia Dorsey will not ever do
Will
that.
do.
I can't.
Uh-uh.
I
Gotta
can't.
break it off.
I gotta break it off.
You
Unless
gotta,
the character is like bubbly all the time, then I might skip and la 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 and prance through the flowers if that's my character. I might method act that.
do you have any dream actors or actresses that you want to work with that you just have to work with before you finish this?
Oh, Viola Davis, easy. I need Viola. I need to play her daughter in something. I don't know. I just I'm like, can I just watch? Can I be on set with you at the same time, even if I don't work with her in the same scene? I'm like, I just want to be involved. Um, Denzel Washington, obviously. I feel like I'm just naming off the great African American actors at this point. Um, Sandra Bullock, I would love to work with her. Um,
Love
I
Sandra.
actually, yeah, I love Sandra. She's funny, and I like Sandra because Sandra has range.
Hmm.
Sandra can play very goofy, very miscongeniality, and then she can go to very serious, like The Blind Side, very Southern conservative mom. Um,
Hmm.
I love that. I love actors with range. I love watching them and not going, oh, that's just Sandra playing herself. Like you're like, oh no, I
Right.
believe that actor. So I would love to work with her. I did make a little chart of my face with potential mom and dad pairings. I'm like, okay, I'm manifesting this and I'm manifesting this and I'm manifesting this. These people are gonna play my part someday.
Besides acting, what do you do when you're not acting or preparing for a film? Are you just chilling all day watching movies? Like what else?
I'm resting. I think mentally it takes a lot to create. And even when I'm resting, my brain is still thinking of what I can create. So that's something I've been working on. I did in the last 2 years start picking up aerial, which if you don't know what that is, it's like circus work, aerial silks, the girls twirling
Oh,
the fabrics and stuff. Yeah,
right. Okay.
I picked that up because I have some friends who were doing it, and I was like, oh, that looks like fun, and it looks like a workout. And let me tell you,
Mm.
it's a workout. As somebody who is not athletic, remember that running scene in soccer. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I want to do some workout, and it's a lot of upper body strength. So yeah, if I'm not acting in my free time, I feel like I'm just thinking of ways to create more. Spending time with friends
Mhm.
and making sure that I'm around positive energy, um, people who are going to lift me up and that I can bring with me and create. That's where my brain is. Well, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
That's good.
I'm always thinking about it.
That's a great thing. Yeah. You're thinking of the next step.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but not in a pressure way. Just like, what can I do
Hmm.
again? What can I do next? Because I do love it.
Yeah, my father always told me certain people just create jobs. He said we go to school, go to college, and go apply for their job. But some people create jobs. You want to be a
Yeah.
creator.
In this industry, a lot of the things that we're watching on TV are because there was a group of friends in LA who went, what if we did a movie about this? Or what if there was a TV show about this? And then they go, dude, let's make it happen. And then they make it happen. And then that's where we're watching. So I'm like, why
Right.
can't I do that? Why can't I won't have that scale that they have in LA? I won't have the $1 million budget. But I'm like, what can I
Hmm.
do with 2, 3, 4, 5 grand here myself with my friends who are also amazing filmmakers and artists? What can I do myself? And that's exactly what I did. And I do that, make my own short films, and people see that. And that's honestly how I got Secrets in the Building, was because I used a clip from a short film that I did myself with my friends. And that's what got me the audition. When they looked at my headshot and they looked at my reel and they were like, okay, yeah, she's good. Let's give her an audition. That's how you get it. You do it yourself, literally.
Yeah.
The end.
Create and just do it. Just step out there on faith.
Who you waiting on? Do it.
Right. Yeah, I like what you said earlier when you were teaching and you decided just, hey, I got to put this aside and go chase my dream.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get to it. And that's what I try to tell a lot of the kids that I coach, that you just have to do it. You know,
you literally
have to sacrifice.
Yeah. You have to decide, because, you know, with the pandemic, with people passing away left and right, unfortunately, it made me go, man, God could really say, Kia, today is your day. Now is your time. And then on my deathbed, will I go, yeah, I didn't get to do what I really wanted to do. Like, I kept saying I was going to do it tomorrow, but I don't get it tomorrow because God said today's my day. And I was like, okay, well, if God has given me this time on earth, I'm going to do what I want to do, what he has put me on earth to do. And I feel like he has put me on earth to connect with other people. Everywhere that I go, I'm meeting and networking and connecting with people, building relationships, and not to toot my own horn, but they're like, man, like you're great. I needed to hear that. I needed to see this. I needed to witness this. And I'm like, okay, that's I was supposed to be here right now in this second, saying the things that I'm saying to you, doing the things. So I had to listen. I had to obey. I had to pack up and go.
Yes. Like once you realize God's assignment for you, like you never totally know what's the assignment. Once you realize that you're here to work for God, man, and it's moving his step, everything is lovely.
Yeah. In that same conversation, in that same point, it also taught me what isn't meant for me. And there's a reason for a lot of that too. A lot of like, why didn't I get this thing? Or why wasn't I was supposed to be here? That wasn't meant for you, you know. You're supposed to be over. So turn your head
Glad
this
you
way.
missed it. Right.
But
Thank God I missed it.
Turn your head that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, last question. What's next for you? Can you talk about any of your next projects? Any
secrets, I know, right? Technically, the next thing that I'm about to film, I am not allowed to talk about yet. But I can talk about the next thing that will air, which is another Lifetime movie that I did this just past summer. As of right now, it's called A Date with Deception, but it's very possible that they might change the title. But I'm telling you guys the title because it's already on IMDb under that title, so you can search it, you can look it up, see it there, and then
A Date with Deception.
A Date with Deception. So if you look up my name and you go to my IMDb, you can see my credits, and then it's right there. Once we get closer to the release date, they might change the title. We'll see. But it is another film that I was lucky to star in. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know when it comes out. I don't know when it'll air, but that's my next project.
Well, hey, all my people and everybody that's watching, please follow Kia Dorsey. Give them your Instagram tag.
It's Kia D Smiley Face. KIA, just like the car, D, and then Smiley Face. SMILEY face. FACE.
Hey, please follow Kia. Then you'll be up to date on all the projects that's coming out, man. If you haven't checked out Lifetime Movie Network, check out the movie Secret in the Building. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. I loved it. Had a good time. Kia, thank you for joining me. I know you're a busy lady, like I keep saying, because I've seen your schedule. You're working. You got some things coming out. So, hey, proud of you. It's good to see a sister out there positive. That's not it's good to see a sister out there that's not trying to sell herself sexually to get to the next level. You're just being a sister, a woman, and proud of that. Keep on going, and I'm supporting you.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining Ain't No Manual. Another show. We got more to come. Hey, y'all follow her. I'm telling you.
Just slow down, you catch up. Run up on something you can't handle. It's up, it's down, no manual. For me, ain't no manual. Ain't no manual. Ain't no manual. Do what you can, but can you though? Just come sit if you can stand the boat. This life hard, understandable. Dog eat dog, fucking animals.